Today we are diving deep into a complex emotional landscape that many couples tread upon, yet seldom fully explore. This is a tale of Alexander Alex Thorne, a 35-year-old architect whose dedication to his family is matched only by his unwavering resolve to bring harmony into his home. He has been married to Clara Jensen, a 32-year-old freelance graphic designer, for 3 remarkable yet tumultuous years. Their relationship carries the weight of 7 years of shared experiences, laughter, challenges, and dreams realized and deferred. But at the heart of their love story lies the brilliant light of their 2.5-year-old daughter, Lily, who is the heartbeat of their household. Alex has always envisioned life built around the sound of laughter, the innocence of a child's curiosity, and the warmth of shared moments. Yet, as many parents discover, the reality of young parenthood can cast long shadows over the brightest joys. Alex works tirelessly at a prominent architectural firm, often pouring long hours into his projects, hoping to provide a comfortable life for his small family. While Alex is preoccupied with concrete walls and design plans, conformed by deadlines and client meetings, Clara grapples with an internal landscape painted in shades of fatigue and anxiety. After the birth of Lily, Clara was overtaken by the weight of postpartum depression and anxiety, a battle she did not foresee but was forced to navigate. This mental landscape often leaves her feeling lost and adrift, a stark contrast to the vibrant artist she once was. Clara's struggle to rediscover her identity is further complicated by the demands of freelance work, wherein uncertainty looms like a specter over her creativity and productivity. She feels like a shadow of her former self, constantly battling her own mind while yearning for recognition in a world that often feels chaotic and unsteady. Throughout this journey, Alex has assumed a role that extends far beyond that of a supportive husband. He has taken on the lion's share of household responsibilities, as well as childcare, quietly reassuring Clara and cheering her on as she attempts to piece together the fragments of her former life. Every counselor appointment he accompanies, every medication he reminds her to take, feels like a necessary step toward reclaiming the person he knows she can be. However, there exists an undercurrent of exhaustion in his unwavering patience, an emotional toll that grows heavier with each passing day. Alex often feels as if he is walking on eggshells, aware that the slightest misstep could ignite a tempest of emotion in Clara. It is an unyielding cycle. His exhaustion from work, coupled with her debilitating fatigue, the love they share feels suffocated beneath the weight of unmet expectations and unresolved emotions. He believes firmly in their commitment to one another, yet whispers of doubt echo in the corners of his mind. Is he truly giving Clara the support she needs, or merely enabling a dependency that distances them further? As he looks into Clara's eyes, Alex sees not only the reflection of the woman he loves, but the shadow of the anxiety that keeps her bound. He longs for the days when laughter fills their home without hesitation, when intimacy feels free and unencumbered. His commitment runs deep, yet it is juxtaposed against the daunting challenge of wrestling not only for Clara's well-being, but also the sanctity of their marriage. The spark that fueled their initial romance now flickers under the relentless strain, and the specter of their challenging reality hovers ominously over their lives like an uninvited guest. The foundation of their marriage feels fragile, teetering on the edge of despair. Yet Alex remains determined to fight for it, to fight for Clara, for Lily, and for their family. With each passing day, as he seeks new ways to support her, the complexities of their reality unfold, filled with heartache, tension, and hopes for a brighter tomorrow. In the backdrop of all this, lurking just around the corner, is Clara's mother, Elaine, whose invasive guidance threatens to disrupt the carefully curated balance in their family life. The echoes of influence from a matriarch can resonate loudly, and in this story they will serve as both a catalyst and a point of contention. As the narrative unfolds, we will delve into the intricate web of relationships, the love that binds Alex and Clara, the struggles that challenge their union, and the pervasive influence of an overbearing mother-in-law. This journey will reveal not only the depths of emotional turmoil, but the quiet strength required to navigate the road ahead, one laden with complexities and hopes for healing. In the delicate tapestry of family relationships, the threads can sometimes become entangled. For Alexander Alex Thorne, navigating the waters of his marriage and parenting is further complicated by the recurring presence of his mother-in-law, Elaine Jensen. Living just 45 minutes away in a quiet suburban town, Elaine's frequent, often uninvited visits serve as a source of tension that ripples through the Thorne household. Clients and colleagues may marvel at the impressive skyscrapers that Alex designs, but within the walls of his own home, it is an entirely different construction to manage. Elaine embodies an archetype that many individuals are sadly familiar with, a mother-in-law who prioritizes her daughter's needs over her son-in-law's authority. Her arrival is generally marked by an air of passive aggression that seeps into every corner of their discussions, often disguised as concern or helpful advice. A backhanded compliment might slip out as easily as an expression of admiration for Alex's hard work. "Oh, Alex, it is sweet how you try to keep the house tidy." Clara has always been a bit artistic and sensitive, has she not? The way she phrases her statements wraps her criticisms in a genteel facade, sending Alex, a devoted husband, to the shadowy fringes of his own home. Over time, Elaine has adopted a style of parenting that undermines Alex's authoritative role, perpetually disregarding the boundaries he tries to establish with Lily. It is a confusing dynamic for a 2.5-year-old who is caught between the adult world of expectations, rules, and a grandmother who warps those boundaries through charm. Whether it is a simple playtime rule or a mealtime guideline, Elaine often has an alternative approach, claiming to the child that grandma knows best. Alex feels his authority crumbling beneath the weight of Elaine's influence, and with each visit, he confronts feelings of frustration that claw at his insides. Elaine's visitations are rarely planned, often intruding on moments Alex deems sacred. When Clara welcomes her mother into their home, it is like setting off a chain reaction, one where peace is obliterated and chaos rushes in. The home that Alex works so diligently to curate becomes a battleground, a place where every conversation is laced with tension and miscommunication. Even a simple gathering can morph into a contest of wills between Alex and Elaine, with Clara inadvertently becoming the beloved referee. It is difficult to ignore how Elaine's comments chip away at Alex's confidence as a father and husband. He often observes Clara in turmoil, caught in a web woven by her mother's insistence that she does not receive enough support at home, that Alex must not truly understand Clara's sensitive nature. "You should be more understanding," Elaine often states. "Your daughter is delicate, Alex. You need to help Clara, but remember she needs her mother's strength most of all." Each sharp remark and insinuation draws Clara further away from Alex and binds her subtly to her mother. As the months pass, it becomes increasingly clear to Alex that Elaine's incessant involvement is jeopardizing not only his marriage, but Clara's mental health. Alex wants to protect both Clara and Lily, yet he feels as though he is engaging in a fight on two fronts, one against Elaine's immense and invasive influence, and another against the depths of postpartum depression that still haunt Clara. He often finds himself against an unyielding wall of reluctance when attempting to open a discussion with Clara about the boundaries they need to establish with her mother. The conversations always carry the same undertones of defensiveness and misinterpretation. Clara often perceives Alex's efforts to be critical of her mother, attributing Elaine's domineering behavior to overprotectiveness, misguided love, or merely the habits of an old-fashioned parent. In response to Alex's suggestions for boundaries, Clara's tears threaten to flow. "You do not understand her. She loves me. She is trying to help. Do not pick on my mother for wanting to support me." Clara becomes entangled in the very mess Alex tries to help her navigate. Alex's resolve remains. He knows that the situation requires delicate handling. He has consulted a therapist, seeking advice on managing such family dynamics, considering couples therapy as the potential light at the end of this tumultuous tunnel. But therein lies the issue. Clara believes her mother harbors no ill intentions, that it is essential for her to be involved. She dismisses therapy appointments, often viewing them as a burden when she is already struggling with the daily demands of motherhood and freelancing. In observing the dance of interpersonal dynamics between Clara and her mother, Alex wrestles not only with the desire to protect their family unit, but with his silence and ever-present struggle to advocate for their marriage, for the sanctity of their home. In doing so, he recognizes that this scenario cannot persist. He cannot remain in the wings as spectator to an unyielding play that threatens to unravel everything he holds dear. As Clara spirals deeper into her reliance on Elaine's approval, Alex fears that soon, without intervention, they could lose any semblance of the family they originally envisioned. An invisible thread of dependency binds not just Clara to her mother, but also ties Alex in a precarious balance of love and duty, creating an emotional chessboard where every move feels consequential. The stakes rise higher with each visit from Elaine, and Alex knows he must take a firm stand if he is ever to reclaim the roles expected in his own home. The tensions may be mounting, but within that tension lies the inevitable confrontation they cannot avoid. As silence descends again, a storm is brewing on the horizon, and Alex can feel it, a clash of perspectives, values, and unaddressed grievances primed to explode into a confrontation that could change everything. In the midst of a turbulent storm, calm waters can be the most deceptive. For Alexander Alex Thorne, an architect accustomed to navigating concrete and steel, the foundation of his family feels as precarious as a tightrope strung over a chasm of emotional discord. With every attempted conversation with his wife Clara about her mother Elaine's overbearing influence, Alex finds himself negotiating not only familial boundaries, but also Clara's fragile state of mind. His love for her, once a tangible source of strength, has begun to take the form of an intricate puzzle, one that feels impossible to solve. The evenings in their home can feel like an anticipating silence, punctuated by unspoken words and shared glances that linger a little too long. In this peculiar quiet, Alex considers his strategies. He revisits moments shared with Clara, recalling their youthful conversations where dreams flowed freely, unimpeded by doubt. Armed with patience and thoughtful intentions, he sets out to dismantle the mounting tension, determined to prioritize an honest dialogue about the impact Elaine's frequent visits have on their marriage and family life. As he prepares to broach the subject, Alex reflects on his efforts to tactfully convey his concerns. He recalls countless nights spent pondering how he might initiate the delicate conversation without inciting Clara's defensiveness. Strategies have emerged through long hours of contemplation, often leading him to consider the words he wishes to use carefully. Each time Alex believes he has gathered the courage to begin, he finds himself struck by an unexpected wave of trepidation. He fears that any mention of Clara's mother will be deemed an attack, a criticism that could send her retreating to the safety of Elaine's approval. On one particular occasion, Alex feels a flicker of hope as he observes Clara engaging in a moment of lighthearted playfulness with their daughter Lily. A brief glimmer of contentment breaks through the veil of tension, prompting him to seize the opportunity. Softly, he initiates the discussion, carefully framing it around their shared goals as parents. "Clara," he starts, his tone gentle, "I know how much you appreciate your mother's support, and I admire everything you do for Lily, but I have been feeling overwhelmed by how involved Elaine has become. I wonder if we could establish some boundaries together." The immediate effect of his words is palpable, and not in the way Alex had hoped. Clara's demeanor shifts from warm to chilly, her expression clouding. "Why do you always do this?" she responds, tension creeping into her voice. "You're focusing on the wrong person. My mother is trying to help. You do not understand how much I struggle every day. If she wants to be involved, I do not see the harm in that." In that moment, Alex's heart sinks as her words hang in the air, charged with defensiveness. It is as if the fortress he sought to build around their family begins to crumble, leaving him feeling more isolated than before. He had anticipated some level of resistance, but this intensity was unexpected. Instead of drawing Clara closer to him, his words seemed to push her further away, solidifying an invisible barrier that separates their hearts. Determined not to give up, Alex seeks alternative approaches. He begins to keep a journal, documenting the encounters that illustrate his concerns. Each entry becomes a testament to Elaine's influence, recording instances that further amplify the undercurrents of their tensions. He chronicles moments where Clara appears to default to her mother's opinions over his, where their decisions as parents are undermined in front of Lily. Bit by bit, he assembles an emotional map, one that could serve not as an indictment against Clara, but as a means to facilitate understanding. Alex knows he needs to share his observations with her, but with every entry he writes, uncertainty lingers. How can he present these reflections without sending her deeper into despair? He seeks advice from a therapist specializing in family dynamics, hoping to strike a balance between offering support and advocating for needed boundaries. His therapist emphasizes the importance of empathy and active listening, tools he aims to wield as he navigates his interactions with Clara. This groundwork sets him on a path toward tackling the turbulent waters of their relationship. But every time Alex prepares to discuss these notes with Clara, he feels an unsettling tension. Whenever he attempts to raise the issue of boundaries calmly, he is met with the same emotional responses that keep shutting down their conversations. Clara's tears pour forth as she interprets his concerns as attacks on her mother, misconstruing Alex's words as an indictment of her parenting capabilities. The very thought of addressing Elaine's influence shakes Clara, and once more Alex feels as though he is losing her to the tangled web of her mother's expectations. In the thickening fog of despair, Alex believes that couples therapy may emerge as a potential solution, a shared space where Clara could voice her anxieties for the future of their family. He suggests the idea with hopefulness bubbling under the surface, believing that perhaps this could be the bridge to understanding one another better. But yet again, Clara recoils. "I do not need therapy," she responds, frustration coursing through her words. "You are overreacting. We are fine. We have a beautiful daughter. Everything is okay. Stop making it into something it is not." With each dismissal, Alex's hope wanes. He wrestles with the knowledge that Clara's postpartum depression and anxiety have made her vulnerable, making it critical for her to receive proper support. Yet, despite his empathy, new barriers rise each time he tries to be a collaborative partner. Alex faces the cruel realization that his advocacy may feel more like an assault on Clara's comfort zone, and he fears that his pleas are falling on deaf ears. His frustration simmers quietly, accompanied by anger. The more Clara resists the conversation, the deeper Alex's resolve becomes. He must establish respect in their relationship while maintaining a safe and nurturing environment for Lily. He knows he can no longer postpone these conversations, as the stakes are too high. The dependency Clara has on her mother to seek her guidance and support becomes a shadow over their home. But each time Alex tries to address the situation, it feels like he is treading a minefield, each step forward fraught with explosive potential. Through it all, Alex holds on tightly to the love he has for Clara and Lily. He knows that establishing boundaries with Elaine is paramount to their growth as a family, yet Clara's unwillingness to recognize the effects of her mother gives rise to doubt. As he grapples with the intricate ties binding Clara and Elaine, Alex is faced with an undeniable truth: he must eventually draw a line in the sand, or risk losing everything he has fought so hard to nurture. Their family stands at a crossroad, and Alex understands that the next steps they take will dictate the future of their relationship. Struggling with fatigue and mounting feelings of depletion, he must decide how to assert his needs without sacrificing the love he has for his wife and daughter. The pressing question of how to move forward hangs heavy in the air, foreshadowing a defining moment that looms on the horizon, waiting to burst forth, an inevitable clash of desires, expectations, and unspoken truths that could alter the course of their life together. In this quiet yet raging storm, Alex steels himself for the trials to come, knowing that he must find the courage to speak the words that have been waiting too long to be said. Whether it is at the family table or in the sacred space of their marriage, it is time to confront the complexities of love, loyalty, and the importance of boundaries. In a world where the delicate balance of relationships can tip like a precarious scale, the evening of the dinner party marked a pivotal moment for Alexander Alex Thorne and his wife Clara. It had started as a carefully orchestrated gathering, a chance for Alex to showcase his culinary talents and connect with a few close friends and colleagues from his architectural firm. All week he had put in extra hours to plan this intimate dinner, believing it could serve as a well-deserved escape for Clara and a way to bolster their strained connection. However, no amount of meticulous planning could have prepared him for the storm that had yet to arrive. As Alex meticulously plated his homemade coq au vin, the warm scents wafting through their cozy home created an inviting atmosphere. He felt a flicker of hope that perhaps this evening would allow Clara to feel both cherished and supported. They had spent so much time in the emotional trenches of postpartum depression and anxiety. He had envisioned this night as an unguarded moment of joy, a brief reprieve from their mounting stresses. However, that peace shattered the moment Clara's mother, Elaine Jensen, intruded upon their carefully curated evening. In the chaos of plating and pouring wine, Alex remained blissfully unaware of the danger that loomed. Elaine arrived late, uninvited yet completely unfazed by the disruption her presence could cause. She breezed into the dining room with an air of ownership that had become painfully familiar to Alex. Her passive-aggressive comments lingered like unpleasant scents, dismissing Alex's hard work and undermining him before he even had the chance to present his efforts with pride. "Oh, you know Clara has always had a delicate stomach. Are you sure this is not too rich for her?" Elaine smirked, the condescension hanging in the air. The laughter that followed was not the light-hearted chuckle Alex had imagined, but rather an uneasy mix of sympathy and judgment from his guests. As the evening unfolded, moments continued to escalate. While Alex attempted to showcase his latest architectural endeavors, Elaine quickly turned to one of Alex's senior colleagues, recounting an embarrassing anecdote about his past behavior. "Alex can be a bit forgetful and prone to distractions," she quipped, her words dripping with insincerity as she undermined both his professional competence and parental authority. With each passing moment, Alex's composure thinned. He could feel the tension coiling in his chest, stifling any remaining optimism he had held for the evening. Clara's eyes flickered to him, filled with a mix of confusion and distress. She did not understand the battle he found himself facing, the exhausting tidal wave of humiliation crashing upon him. All he wanted was to create an enjoyable evening for Clara, a night free from the struggles and shadows that had sullied their small, intimate world. Finally pushed to the brink by Elaine's incessant jabs, Alex placed his glass down with unnerved steadiness. He felt a calm settle over him, surprising in its intensity. This was no longer about just his dignity. It was about protecting his home, his family. "Elaine," he began, forcing his voice to remain even, "your presence here is no longer appropriate. You have consistently disrespected me and my home. I am asking you to leave now." The words hung starkly in the air, punctuated with an urgency that he could no longer suppress. His declaration sliced through the polite chatter of the dining room, drawing wide eyes and covered mouths from their guests. Clara's face flushed, a mixture of shock and anger igniting within her. Alex could see the emotion wrestling with the lines of shame etched across her features, and it broke him in ways he had never anticipated. "After tonight, you will not be allowed back here until we can establish respectful boundaries," he continued, his heart pounding in his chest. He was not known for confrontation, yet with each syllable he felt the fragile threads that had held their family together begin to weave a tapestry of strength. The silence that followed was deafening. Clara's eyes widened, reflecting a torrent of emotions. Hurt, confusion, and an unmistakable fury swirled together as she processed her husband's plea. In that moment, Alex realized that his stance was not just against Elaine. It was a silent declaration of love for Clara. He needed her to understand. His resolve was not a dismissal of her family, but a means of protecting their own. Alex's words had landed, yet their impact was far from resolved. Clara trembled, her gaze flitting from him to her mother, as if she were caught between two worlds. With Elaine's brow furrowed in disbelief, Clara's expression twisted into an almost unrecognizable mask, one that had momentarily shifted from shock to furious betrayal. As Elaine's face twisted into indignation, Alex could sense the storm brewing within Clara. His heart raced, not only at the fear of losing her, but at the realization of what lay ahead. Would she stand by him, or would this fracture their marriage irrevocably? In that intense moment within the dining room, the ties that bound them and the tension they had navigated for years broadened into an unbridgeable divide. Alex held his breath, anticipating Clara's response, knowing that the night was an echo of years past, tense, unresolved, and with the weight of familial ties that could fracture even the strongest of foundations. Nobody had planned for Elaine to arrive that night, yet now the unexpected arrival had laid bare their marital struggles, exposing raw wounds that had yet to heal. Alex stood center stage, fear often mingled with defiance, prepared to face whatever storm Clara would unleash next. Little did he know, the confrontation ahead would shape not only the course of their evening, but the very fabric of their lives as they knew it. As the last of the guests filtered out, leaving behind an echo of polite laughter, Clara's bewilderment transformed into a storm of emotion. The air felt electrically charged as she turned to Alex, her voice trembling with indignation. "How could you do this? How could you speak to my mother like that? You are humiliating her." Alex felt as though he had just stepped off a precipice, the ground suddenly unstable beneath him. "Clara," he began, his voice calm but resolute. "This had to happen. Your mother was undermining my authority in our home, and the way she dismisses me in front of our friends is unacceptable." "But you do not understand," Clara pleaded, tears beginning to well in her eyes. "My mother is not just some outsider. She is just trying to help. You were cruel and unfeeling in front of everyone." "Was I?" Alex challenged softly. "What about the way she dismisses my efforts? The way she implies I cannot take care of our daughter? You know that is not my intention. I want us to be a united front, both for Lily Sepp's sake and our marriage." Clara swallowed hard, visibly torn. Alex could see that she was wrestling with an avalanche of emotions. The shame of having witnessed such public confrontation, the betrayal she felt towards him, and the internal conflict concerning her mother's influence were all playing out behind her tearful eyes. "What about me?" Clara choked out. "What about how I feel? What about the fact that I am still struggling? This is hard for me, Alex. You are supposed to be on my side." At that moment, Alex felt his heart crack open. He understood her struggle. He had walked alongside her through the dark alleys of her postnatal depression and anxiety, each step sometimes feeling like an uphill battle. But this was about drawing a line, establishing boundaries that had been long overdue. "Clara," he said gently, "I have never claimed to express anything but support for you. But I can no longer stand by while you allow your mother to dictate our home life. You need to see that she is our problem, not me. I want to save us. I want to save our family." There was a long pause, a silence thick with unspoken words. Clara's breath hitched as she registered what he continued to say. After a few moments, she shook her head in disbelief. "You are going to throw our whole life away over an argument about my mother? You know she can be overbearing. What is next, Alex? Signing divorce papers?" The fear that laced her words felt like ice piercing through his resolve. "This is not just an argument. This is a fundamental issue," he replied, his tone serious yet compassionate. "I have documented it. Every instance of her undermining me, every missed therapy appointment, and every time you have allowed this to happen without assertion. I have even consulted with a family law attorney. If you cannot commit to changing this dynamic, then I will have to consider what is best for Lily." Clara stared at him, her eyes wide, caught between disbelief and comprehension. The implications of his words sunk in slowly, like stones sinking to the bottom of a lake. Alex was prepared, not just emotionally but also strategically. This was not a raving ultimatum. It was a firm call to action for their family's well-being. "You are serious," Clara stated, the hint of panic inching up her voice. "Yes," he replied. "I love you, Clara, but this needs to change. You have to understand that if you cannot see the toxic pattern, if you cannot break free from your mother's hold, I cannot be a part of this anymore, and neither can Lily." He watched her expression twist through a spectrum of emotions: fear, heartbreak, anger. It was truly a tumultuous battle, one he never wanted to engage in, but part of him understood that this might just be a catalyst for a change. Clara finally turned away, arms folding across her chest as though trying to protect herself from the world. "I just need you to think," Alex said quietly, "to consider what we have built together and what we can lose. It is time for you to step up, to push back against her with me, to stand united. I am here, I am with you, but I cannot keep fighting alone." Before Clara responded, the weight of the evening pressed heavily upon them both. He could see that she was still formulating her thoughts, her insecurity grappling with the truth of his words. He took a step back, allowing her the space she needed. The silence that hung between them felt both hopeful and exhausting, like the calm directly before a storm. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. If you found value in this narrative of marital complexity, familial dynamics, and emotional resilience, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Your support empowers me to delve into more stories that explore the nuances of relationships and what it takes to navigate through them. Do you have thoughts or personal experiences related to this story? I would love to hear them in the comments below. Sharing our experiences with one another can lead to understanding and healing. Thank you for watching. And remember, every relationship requires effort, vulnerability, and a dash of courage. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.